Katie recibió la primera de 3 nominaciones consecutivas al Globo de Oro por Married with Children. Ganó el American Comedy Award por su papel de Peg Bundy. Y en agosto, ella y sus coestrellas pidieron un aumento y lo consiguieron.
Did we have to sort of stand up for ourselves and ask for a piece of what was going on? Yeah. You know, if anybody's fortunate enough to get on that ride, which is that of a show with longevity, there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of people.
En abril de 1991, la serie alcanzó un hito en la televisión, nada menos que su 100º episodio. Pero había otra razón para celebrar. Katie tenía 4 semanas de embarazo. El parto debía tener lugar en diciembre y todo parecía marchar bien, pero el 13 de octubre algo salió mal.
We were in the middle of rehearsals, and that day she wasn't there, and they told us what happened, and we just didn't go back to work for a while.
Lo que sucedió fue la peor pesadilla de Katie. Su bebé, que sería bautizado como Ruby Alexander, vino al mundo con 6 semanas de anticipación y nació muerta.
They couldn't find no medical reason for us to have lost that child. And that required an enormous amount of letting go on my part to accept that. I kept sort of thinking, no, I must have done something, or how, it just didn't make sense to me.
She's cried every day for a year. I mean, you know, she didn't think she was going to be able to have a kid.
Katie, because of her spiritual foundation, I think she's so rooted in faith and knowing that there is a power greater than herself, and I think she was just able to roll with the punches and to be able to handle anything that life dealt her. I mean, she has a tough background. She's no wimp.
La tragedia también tuvo consecuencias en su trabajo.
We really got ourselves into a situation where Peg Bundy was pregnant, and all of a sudden she wasn't. So I felt that the producers actually handled it in a way that was, believable for the show and the least painful for us, because we had to say something.
El embarazo fue luego explicado sagazmente, como un sueño.
I was really worried about her because I thought that, I knew how much she wanted the child, and then I thought, oh, now what's going to, how do you come back from that?
We both cried a lot. I was trying to have a baby at the same time, and I was having some difficulty doing so, and she was incredibly comforting and said, just, keep trying. That's what we're going to do.
Katie y Jack siguieron intentándolo, y en noviembre de 1993, la pareja tomó otra gran decisión.
They had been together for a really long time, and they'd gone through the Ruby thing, and they'd gone through a bunch of stuff already.
We went for a Thanksgiving holiday, and he said, let's get married tomorrow. I said, okay.
Katie y Jack recuerdan que en esa época visitaron a su familia en Nashville.
We'd sort of been debating how to do it and the families, and we'd both been married once before, and do you have a big wedding, or do you just, we couldn't logistically kind of get it together. So it was very romantic, and he just said, let's just go down to the courthouse and get married. And so we went to the pawn shop, and we bought ourselves some rings, and we went to the court, and then the next day we went to a little church with these 2 friends of ours, and we got married.
La ceremonia fue obra de Katie, pero lo que ocurrió la noche de bodas cambió sus vidas. Al regreso para el Día de Acción de Gracias en 1993, Katie Sagal y Jack White viajaron para visitar a la familia de Jack en Nashville. Pero para la consumada pareja, la noche de bodas fue lo que realmente cambió sus vidas.
Our daughter was conceived that night. That's what we can figure, as close as we can figure, So it was really a sweet thing. It was great.
Durante el embarazo, Katie siguió adelante con su anhelada meta de grabar su propio disco.
The president of Virgin Records at the time, he really saw the sort of marketing potential of a television person, because by this time I'm like a television person who actually can sing and make records.
El ecléctico disco era una mezcla de blues, folk y pop, y se llamaba Well. El sello Virgin lanzó la canción Can't Hurry the Harvest como sencillo.
Can't hurry the harvest. I was holding so much was meant to be.
had good reviews on my record, and you know, people were going, wow, she really is good, but you know, I'd go to radio and they'd want to say, you know, can you say, hey Al? So to get people to legitimately take my music seriously was kind of disheartening. You know, it was sort of like, wow, you know, this isn't how I feel at all. And it was kind of an uphill battle there.
A los críticos les gustó Well, pero el disco no fue un éxito de ventas.
It's in the bargain bin. You know, that was a hard too. That was a loss for me in my heart, because I really liked that record.
A medida que avanzaba el embarazo de Katie, sus jefes de televisión se mostraban sumamente cautelosos y esta vez decidieron no mencionar el embarazo de la actriz en la serie.
They shot Katie from the waist up, and they shot her on the phone a lot.
10 semanas antes de la fecha del parto, los productores enviaron a Katie a casa.
Finally, towards the end of the pregnancy, my doctor just put me in the hospital. Not because anything was wrong, but because I kept going to his office, like once a day, twice a day. You know, I just wanted to hear the baby. And finally he just said, you know, you're too anxious. So why don't you just, you know, so for the last couple of weeks, I was in the hospital, so that baby was ready to be delivered.
El 7 de agosto de 1994, Katie dio a luz a una saludable bebé, Sarah Grace, en honor a la madre de Katie, la vieja amiga de Katie, Bonnie Bruckheimer.
The birth of her daughter was a miracle, and I remember going up to the house and seeing her with Sarah, and I was just so happy for her.
It just made her more of a complete person. It made her a lot stronger, just happier, and gave her all the things, more centered, more neurotic a little.
De pronto, la coestrella de Married with Children estaba casada y tenía una hija.
There was cribs being rolled onto the stage. There was nannies being marched in. Dressing rooms, wallpaper being torn down, new wallpaper being put up. Yeah, I mean, she turned into a mom. She went from soul mama to soul mommy.
The baby was there all the time. I don't think Katie could have stayed away all day from her child.
Cuando Sarah tenía 5 meses, la serie de su familia televisiva llegó al episodio número 200. La verdadera familia de Katie aumentó el 1 de marzo de 1996 al dar a luz a su hijo, Jackson James White.
Everything normal. By this time I was more relaxed. You know, one had successfully come into the world, and you know, he did too.
En la primavera de 1997, Married with Children llegó al que a la postre sería su último episodio.
We didn't know if we were going to get canceled or not, and they tried to mock up this fake episode, this fake last episode that they like tried to trick the viewers with.
They sent the executives in on a Wednesday of the last show. Now, we're shooting the show on Friday. Wednesday afternoon, they came in, and they wondered if we could make this show a possible last show. We're taping in a day and a half. Get out.
You happy now, Peg? You drove both our children into the arms of criminals.
Well, I just wanted them to do better than I did.
Después de 11 temporadas, la Fox canceló la serie sin ceremonia alguna, pero no hizo el anuncio oficial hasta que se detuvo la producción durante el receso de verano.
We didn't get to give our very good audience, our audience that had stuck with us for a very long time, we didn't get to give them, you know, an appropriate goodbye in a Bundy fashion.
I was a little miffed. I just didn't like the way it was handled. It was okay that it was coming to an end. It really was a long run. We did it for 11 years. The sad part was, to me, was that we didn't have any preparation for that ending, so nobody really got to say goodbye to each other.
When the show was canceled, I mean, everybody was loving the money that they were making. But at the same time, it's like, how many times can we do this joke now? And people were tired, and I think they were ready to move on.
Eso fue lo que hizo Katie. Luego de Married with Children, Katie realizó varios trabajos en televisión en los que mostraba su talento. En la película Smart House, Katie interpreta a un robot casero de alta tecnología.
Pat! Sorry, Dick. I have to do what I believe is best.
En otra película para televisión, el drama God's New Plan, Katie encarna a una mujer con una enfermedad mortal que planea el futuro a largo plazo de su familia. Y en la comedia animada Futurama, le presta su voz a una cíclope extraterrestre llamada Leela.
I knew your hard shell. You're really soft and tender.
Pero además del trabajo, esta actriz por accidente sabía que tenía preocupaciones más importantes.
I spend tons of time with my children, and I think the choices that I'll make in the long run, once you're a mom, you're always a mom. Now I'm a parent, and that's my main priority, really.
Al regreso Katey Sagal creció en una familia del negocio del espectáculo, pero eso no le garantizaba una vida libre de cargas emocionales.
She didn't have an easy time as a young girl. She had she felt, I think, isolated and alone a lot of the time. And she, coming up in the music industry, and she had a marriage before that didn't work out. And, all those things.
3 de los 4 hermanos de Katey se convirtieron en actores, pero desde niña, Katey tuvo otras ambiciones.
If I had to say one thing about Katey Sagal, it would be she was born to sing. I don't even think she really wanted to be an actress, to be quite honest with you.
Como corista, Katey vivió a plenitud, pero su propio mundo estaba en problemas. Se hizo adicta al alcohol y a las drogas y sufrió la temprana pérdida de sus padres y 2 embarazos fallidos. Los amigos de Katey señalan que sin duda alguna se trata de una sobreviviente.
Friends say Katey Sagal is a survivor. You're talking about adversities that sometimes people don't even experience in a lifetime, and she still has walked on, and walked on with a lot of pride and dignity.
She had just a toughness about her that saw her through all these things that she had to deal with.
She's an extraordinary woman with extraordinary strength.
Sin embargo, el camino para llegar a tener tal fuerza fue duro. La trágica muerte de Boris Sagal en 1981 fue un momento muy difícil para su hija mayor. Muchos años después, Katey reflejaba las en ocasiones problemáticas relaciones con su padre, quien siempre quiso que su hija se dedicara a la actuación y no a la música.
The regret I have about it is that we were finally getting really close. And the last year of his life, I felt very bonded to my dad. And I wished we'd had more time to explore that more. I think I saw him more as a person. I was really starting to, and I think he finally accepted the fact that I was going to do what I was going to do. And he was okay with it.
Irónicamente, en medio de su carrera, la vida de Katey dio un giro de 180 grados. De pronto se había convertido en una estrella de televisión, algo de lo que su padre habría estado orgulloso.
It's almost like I've had 2 different lives, and the second half of my life so far has been so rooted and so stable, and now I'm more used to that.
En mayo del año 2000, la NBC anunció que Katey regresaría a la estación al colocar la nueva comedia Tucker en la temporada de otoño. Años atrás, otra comedia, Married with Children, había obligado a Katey a hacer grandes ajustes en su vida.
You cannot be in the public eye and be as successful as Bat is or Katey is and not have it affect your private life. But I think that Katey has maintained a sense of normalcy that I admire with her children and her personal life.
Bette Midler llamó una vez a su ex Harlette una gran mujer. Quizás sea algo de modestia, pero Katey Sagal vacila un poco antes de responder.
Do I think I'm a great broad? Yeah, I do. I do think I'm a great broad. I think I'm, yeah, I think I am. If you ask my husband, he would tell you that I'm not as funny as people think I am. And that I think I'm probably a little more sensitive than people realize. I think I'm a little more hard on